Hello, hello. Welcome back to Peak Northwest, an outdoors and travel podcast by the Oregonian and Oregon Live, dedicated to the adventure and exploration of our beautiful Pacific Northwest. I'm Jamie Hale.
And I'm Chiara Profena. Together we take you to some of the most beautiful and interesting destinations in our region, discussing where to go, what to do, and places to see. And today we're looking for whales and eating some chowder as we explore one of the Central Coast's best getaways.
We're talking, of course, about Depoe Bay, one of the best small towns in the Oregon coast, built on the rugged, rocky shorelines of just north of Newport on the central Oregon coast.
Rocked sounds like a good description for it.
Rocked, yeah, that's good.
It is pretty rocked.
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't know. I've never been there.
Okay, so you've never been to Depoe Bay. So I'm trying to keep tabs on where you've been on the coast.
We'll have to make a list.
Yeah, you've been to Seaside. We know that. We talked about that recently.
Right. I've been to Seaside, Cannon Beach, briefly Astoria, Newport, and some area in that general vicinity that I don't know the city name, but it was Falcon Bay or Falcon Cape.
Cape Falcon?
Cape Falcon.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I went and I did a campfire there once, but that was it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've done a lot of North Coast, and then Newport, which is sort of capital of the Oregon coast, kind of right there in the center.
Right.
So Depoe Bay, we're talking about just north of Newport.
Okay.
Between Newport and Lincoln City. And Newport and Lincoln City are kind of like your bigger Central Coast towns.
Oh, yeah.
They got all the stuff, a lot of the hotels, a lot of the food, a lot of the, that's where you're going to find your Fred Meyers and your Walmarts. Depoe Bay is a small town. It's a vacation town. It's a getaway. So it's got more of your touristy feel to it.
Okay. So I've definitely driven through it because I know that I've stopped in Lincoln City at one point. So Lincoln City to Newport is something I've done.
Mm-hmm. Then you'll recognize. I think if you see pictures of it, you're going to go, oh, right. Because
of course.
US 101 goes right through the middle of Depoe Bay. And on your left, when you're there, is a bunch of little shops and restaurants. Okay. On the right is a seawall and the ocean. And it's just you kind of slow down, you go through the town, and it's just a bunch of parking spots on either side of the freeway. And just that's Depoe Bay. That is the heart of it right there.
Gotcha. Well, I could say it sounds familiar, but it sounds like anywhere. It sounds like a lot of places driving on that highway. Mm-hmm. I don't have enough of a sense of place, but Jamie, as the expert on senses of place, what did you do in Depoe Bay, or why were you there?
The things you do in Depoe Bay, the reason you go to stop there, not just drive through, are to do whale watching, to eat some food, and to go outside and look at some nice views of the ocean.
Classics.
Whale watching's not so classic in the sense that there's not a lot of places in the Oregon coast that you do whale watching like you do in Depoe Bay. Depoe Bay is the whale watching capital of the Oregon coast. That's what they say.
So why do the whales go there?
Wow, I'm so glad you asked. We're going to get into a little bit of marine biology here for a second, to the best of my ability. So the gray whales, we're talking mostly about gray whales here. You might see some other whales going by, or some orcas, but gray whales are sort of the main whale we see in the Oregon coast. They do this 10,000-mile round-trip migration from Baja to the coast of Alaska every year. So they have their breeding grounds in Baja in the nice warm waters, and their feeding grounds up off the coast of Alaska. And they do this migration back and forth. So they pass by the Oregon coast at the end of March every year, and then also the end of December. It's thousands and thousands of migrating gray whales. But at some point in the past, a small group of 250 or so of those whales decided they were going to stop off in little spots along the way. Crescent City, Vancouver Island, and Depoe Bay. So in the summertime, instead of seeing the whales just swimming past, you'll see some of them pull off in Depoe Bay and hang out for a while. And for a while, scientists were why is this happening? We don't know. But this marine biologist named Carrie Newell in Depoe Bay collected whale poop to find out what the deal was, what they were eating, essentially, that kept them there.
Okay.
And she found tons and tons of mysid shrimp, which are little tiny shrimp that live in the kelp beds. And there's clouds of these mysid shrimp that are in the kelp beds. And they thrive because of this sort of deep volcanic rocky shoreline there. So the gray whales are going there and just eating their body weight in tiny shrimp every single day. And there's enough of them there that like it sustains the population, at least a small population.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's
so
great.
they just hang out offshore. So that makes it, because they're hanging out just offshore, people can hang out just onshore and watch them very easily, especially like when you get into like early September when there's more of them there and the weather's nice.
So you say more of them. So do they all like hang out there for like a section of the year, or as they're passing through, they just hang out there during the months that they're passing?
I talked to Carrie Newell, and she said she calls them summer residents.
Ah.
So like the summertime is kind of the time that a lot of them will sort of hang out before they like make their final push back down to Baja.
Well, that's the best time to visit the coast, isn't it?
It is. It's a great time. So coincidentally, a great time to be in Depoe Bay or on the Oregon coast, early September. So I was just out there the first weekend of September to see the whales, because I wanted to go. I've been there before, but I wanted to like go out and get some good pictures, and to talk to Carrie and to go on the whale watching trip. And the weather was incredible. It was like really sunny one day, but then like really foggy the next morning, which is like the best of both worlds. You were talking about this in Seaside.
Yeah.
I love that. And the whales were out. They were out there. So if we want to do whale watching in Depoe Bay, there's like a lot of ways to do it, right? So as I said, that migration in March and in December, the State Parks Department has what they call Whale Watching Week, when they station park rangers at parks up and down the coast. So you can just go to a state park and like a ranger will be there to be like, hey, you want to look at some whales? And you can say, sure. And they'll tell you all about it. And you can get the binoculars and you look for the spout, so on and so forth. In Depoe Bay, though, they have a place called the Whale Watching Center, which is like a little museum / like park that is like designed for like it. They have like whale skeletons. They have like information about them. You can have like the binoculars by the window. They have a live camera feed, so you can just look at the screen and see the whales up close.
Wow, they've got it all figured out.
They have it all figured out. But even just like, from like the shoreline in Depoe Bay, like there's this nice little walk, sort of a promenade along the seawall. It goes like over the bridge, and there's some little pockets where you can, get like sit on a bench and look out at the ocean, and you can see whales from right there very easily when they're close in the right time of year. So a lot of ways to see whales, but I do think the best way to do it is to get on a whale watching tour boat. Have you ever done a whale watching tour in other places?
I have. I've been to one in Alaska.
Oh my gosh.
That was really cool. They're probably the same whales.
Some gray whales. What were they doing?
Breaching?
Not the same whale. The gray whales are like known as like the least charismatic of the whales.
Well, we saw ones breaching with their tails out, and then that was like most of it, and then orcas.
Oh God, nice.
Yeah, so that was fun. But so do these whale watching tours run from a certain time period?
I have done them in the fall. I've done them in the early spring. Because you have the whale migration in March and December, and then you have the whales that are hanging out in summer, and some that linger in through the fall. Like there's a lot of good times to do it, but not every time is a really good time. I've been on some tours like that one I went in the fall was like a little rough. I've been in some in the spring that were like, well, maybe we saw one or two, but this one I did in September, it was like right out of the bat we saw right out the gate we saw a whale, and then we saw another one, and then another one, and another one, and another one. And it was just like the whole time it was just like at one point there were whales on like 3 sides of the boat. And the captain's like, well, just pick a side and look there and you're going to see one. And
so you said that they are less charismatic. So were they coming out of the water, or just you see them under? Basically
what you see is, the first thing you see is the spout of their blowhole, right? The big of water, which is very cool. When they're closer, I didn't know this until this tour, but when you get closer, you hear that spray, and then you hear this other sound that's like air going through like a metal pipe or something. It's sort of like a
whistle.
Ooh, ooh.
You're speaking whale now.
It's like just the sound of the organ, like that hollow organ expelling air.
Yeah,
is very cool.
It's like their own musical instrument.
Yeah, exactly. So that you see that first, the spout, and then you see sort of their back arch. So it just looks like a gray rock. in the water.
But it's moving.
But it's moving very slowly. And then you sort of see the back hump of it. And if they're diving deeper, then you see the tail just pop up and then go underwater.
Gotcha.
And that's what you see. They do breach or jump out of the water every now and then, but it's like so rare, it's like not even worth thinking about. It's but like humpback whales are the ones that are like acrobatic, that are like jumping out and sideways and splashing. The humpbacks are crazy. They're their whole other thing. And the orcas, of course, do their own thing. And the gray whales are just kind of chill. They just,
They just stick their tails out every once in a while, get some air.
Exactly. That's
make
it.
Music.
So it's the whale watching tours. There's 4 companies in Depoe Bay that do it, which is great. I mean, there's like nowhere else on the coast you can do whale watching. Depoe Bay has 4 companies. There's so Carrie, the marine biologist, has her own, and that's the one I always go with. She's called Whale Research Eco Excursions. A bit of a mouthful, but it's a great tour. They go on these little Zodiac boats. You know what those are? It's sort of like military grade raft, like motor raft. I don't know how to explain it better than that. It's like 6-person boats that are low to the water.
Oh, so they're pretty small.
Yeah, they're small craft. They're like right on the water. So there's not like a lot of, tilting. So she said that, people who get seasick or do better on these because there's not like a lot of big movement. It's just sort of more like, you're jetting along the water. And there's another company called Whale's Tail that also is basically the same thing. And those 2 companies, Whale Research Eco Excursions and Whale's Tail, are like the whale watching tour boats. There's a couple other outfitters, Tradewinds and Dockside. They do charter fishing as sort of their main thing, and they offer whale tours on sort of like the side, like in the afternoons. Any 4 of those are going to be good bets to go out and see them, and like I think it's really cool to see them from shore, especially when they're migrating past and you can see one after the other. But getting down on the water and getting close to these animals, especially because, like I said, they're not that charismatic, I think you got to do it at least once in Depoe Bay.
So with the migration happening like right now, would this be a thing to do this year or save for next year?
I mean, the migration is going to happen again in December, the big one, as they go past. So the whales that are there now are kind of like, feeding, gearing up to sort of continue along the migration. That's going to sort of peak in December.
Okay, so you can still go this year, and you'll still probably be able to see quite some activity.
I think definitely. I think you should. The best way to do it, and this is what I always do, if I'm itching to see whales, is just to call, like Whale Research Eco Excursions or Whale's Tail and be like, "What's the deal? Are there whales? Is it worth booking right now?" And they'll tell you straight up, like, there's some, you might be good. They'll be like, no, this is the time to go. But when I talked to Carrie about this, she was like, September is the best time. October, it starts, like, you definitely see some stuff in October, but it starts to wane a little bit more. But, like, September's, I mean, if you really want to, make sure you see a lot of whales, maybe think about next September.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, beyond whale watching, what else did you get up to out there?
Food. So much food.
Always some of the best stuff to do out in the coast.
Exactly. And I won't cover all the food I ate in Depoe Bay on this trip because some of it, to be frank, wasn't my favorite, and I don't want to talk bad about anybody. So I want to talk about the good places I've been to over the years there. And I feel like let's start like on like a morning to evening situation here.
Just the itinerary for the day.
Yeah. If you're wanting coffee, Pirate Coffee Company, not my favorite coffee, but I love this place. I love the coffee shop. It's like pirate themed. They've got like weird lattes, you know what I mean? And it's a great like local spot. I've done some excellent eavesdropping in Pirate Coffee Company.
That sounds amazing. This is like my dream location because I don't really care as much about the taste of the coffee as long as I'm getting caffeinated. But the atmosphere is what matters to me.
Yeah, exactly. So if that's what you want, Pirate Coffee Company is right in town. You can walk to it from anywhere. It's a great spot. If you want actually good coffee, if you're like a coffee snob, Left Coast Coffee right downtown is a good spot. They have like one big table and that's all the seating. So it's not like it's like a good, like if you want to get coffee and go. Yeah. Left Coast is good. Otherwise, Pirate Coffee is a great spot to hang out for a little while. This new breakfast spot called Whale Bites Cafe. I had not been there before. It's actually owned by Carrie, the whale watcher. It's next door to her whale watching. So I went there before, like the morning before the tour. just to get like, I got like a smoked salmon bagel, and it was really good.
That sounds really good.
And I overheard someone else who had like a breakfast bowl, and they said, this is the best thing I've ever eaten in Depoe Bay. So the food at Whale Bites Cafe is really solid. Good coffee too, and it's right there on the harbor, the world's smallest harbor in Depoe Bay, as they say, the world's smallest navigable harbor. That's where all the whale watching and fishing boats go out into the ocean. And there's like at the Whale Bites Cafe, there's a little outside seating area right over the harbor, so it's a really nice place to like go out and look at maybe a seal down there or some boats going past.
Okay, fun. So you can get your breakfast, go on your whale tour within the same block. It sounds
like it's literally next door.
Same
it's like
building.
Basically the same building. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the morning down.
Yes. One of like the classic spots to eat in Depoe Bay is Gracie's Sea Hag. This is an institution. It's been there since the 60s. It is a breakfast, lunch, and dinner place. And it's interesting. It's like you can get your big breakfast, like your Marionberry pancakes, your bacon and eggs, diner vibes, right? But then they also have like some of the best fish and chips and clam chowder on the coast.
Wow, okay.
Really good.
So they're doing everything.
And then they have really good like seafood. I talked to the owner when I was there this last time, and he's like, he made it a point to like get good quality sourced seafood. Like he is like a fanatic of good seafood. So when he bought the business a couple decades ago with his wife, they were like, we're gonna keep everything the same, but we're gonna get like better seafood, which is I love that.
It's a good tactic, yeah.
If whether you're trying to get like some good prawns or you're trying to get some good chowder or you want to get a big plate of pancakes, Gracie's, it has all of that. And it's like a dark restaurant with like old school nautical decoration. I love this place. It's not for everyone, but it is also for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think everybody could get something. Find something they like there.
Yeah.
It's a good family place.
It's a good family place, and there's a separate bar.
Okay.
So it's also, it's like breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, all at Gracie's.
So you could spend your entire day there.
When I was talking to the owners, they said like they see people come in for like breakfast and dinner or like lunch and drinks or like breakfast and like people come in twice a day pretty regularly there, that tells you something. So Gracie's is like a good go-to, anything there. Next door to Gracie's, or I guess a few doors down, is a place called The Horn, owned by the same owners of Gracie's, I learned on this trip. But it's like more modern. It's like a brew pub. So they brew their own beer there. They'd have a different fish and chips recipe and a different chowder recipe that are also among the best on the coast.
Interesting that they've decided to split that up that way.
When I talked to them, they were like, we can't have the same recipe for this other business.
No, that makes sense. But like, I feel like you would just do something completely different instead of change your recipes,
Oh, no, I mean, if you're not selling chowder on the coast, what are you doing? But they do have a lot of different kinds of food. It's a different menu. A lot of stuff sort of incorporates beer, so it's like a beer battered fish and chip.
Gotcha.
They do like more like desserts. Like, I think it's a smaller menu if I'm remembering correctly. And what I love about the Horn, where Gracie's is sort of like dark, the Horn has like big windows, like going upstairs especially. You can get like some window tables upstairs. I've been there so many winters when it's like gray and rainy and spitting, eating like hot chowder and drinking like a stout and like looking out at the gray ocean. Oh, it's so good.
So out of Gracie's and the Horn, which one has better fish and chips or better chowder maybe?
I know their chowder better.
Yeah.
I'm partial to the Horn. I would put Gracie's in like, definitely like top 10 on the coast. Maybe even top 5. The Horn to me is like definitely one of the best chowders on the coast.
Ooh, okay. So get your chowder there, and then maybe go to the other spot, get your fish and chips or something. I guess,
yeah. I mean,
hit both of them.
If you want to do like a nicer restaurant, which some people do, there's a place called Tidal Raves that is like sort of like your accessible nice, or maybe entrees are like $20, $30. And if you want to go nice, there's a place called Restaurant Beck that is like nice. It is like where you're gonna drop a few $100s on dinner.
Okay.
It's that kind of place. where you might as well go ahead and get the wine pairing because you're already spending that much. I've never been to Restaurant Beck. I'm not in that tax bracket.
It doesn't really sound like the place I'd find myself. But Tidal Raves, hey.
Yeah, I've done Tidal Raves. It's it's certainly like a good, nice night out.
Okay.
It's not your bar food. It's not your fried food. They do have that stuff, but like they have like the nice entrees also.
Sounds delicious.
So okay, we've talked whales. We've talked food. I think the other big thing is to like where you're gonna go hang out outside. Mm-hmm. It's the coast. It's beautiful, and this is like not your real sandy beach coastline. That said, there's a couple places to go do sandy beach. There's a place called Fogarty Creek. It's really your only sandy beach in Depoe Bay, but it's small, and it's sort of more known among rockhounds. So it's not quite like your, take a nice long walk along the sand spot. It's more like if you want to get out onto the sand, period, this is the place to do it.
Gotcha.
If you want like more of a better sort of more classic sandy beach, Glen Eden Beach, just to the north, or if you go south, Ottercrest Beach, these are better spots. But in Depoe Bay, this is your one spot. Boiler Bay is another great outdoor spot. It's just basically like there's a parking lot, and then there's kind of like a grassy, sandstony area with a big fence along this coastline. So there's like you have like this kind of outcropping, right? This sort of like semicircular outcropping, and there's a fence along it, and you can kind of walk along the fence. It's great to do whale watching. I've seen whales spout just right there. It's great to do bird watching. There's always people out with binoculars out there. And at low tide, like super, super low tide days in the summer, Boiler Bay, there is a boiler, an old ship's boiler that is like shipwrecked out there that you can see or go down and walk to.
So are you like overlooking all of the coast on this?
Yeah, it's like pretty low down. It's not high up, but you're kind of looking out at Boiler Bay on one side,
Gotcha.
at the bay, and then out at the ocean, and then over at Depoe Bay. It's kind of like a 180 view.
Nice little panoramic.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Boiler Bay boiler is very fun if you want to do like a low tide adventure.
Have you been down there?
I definitely have. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very slippery. It's like not super safe all the time, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty interesting. And it's a cool story of like the shipwreck and stuff.
Okay, so we're onto your last outdoor recommendation.
Yes. Rocky Creek is a great state park site. It's just on the south side of Depoe Bay. It's a good big kind of grassy area with some benches, and there's some trails. If you want to do a little walking, Rocky Creek's a great place to do it. You can walk over to the tip of Whale Cove, where you can get a good view of this cove where there are, of course, whales. You can see them in the right season. So
crazy that they would have those there. Well, so Rocky Creek isn't rocky then?
The park isn't rocky.
So titles can be misleading, but there are whales at Whale Cove.
Yes, exactly. Because this is the coast and it's a small town, you got to talk about shoppy shops. There's definitely some shoppy shops in Depoe Bay. This is one of those towns. So you are going to find, your little funky gift shops, the leather goods store, things that have whales on them, of course. Taffy, more taffy, a third taffy place. A couple of places with big Sasquatch statues out front.
Nice.
Just like that kind of thing. You can buy kites. You can buy funny T-shirts. You can buy, home decor with like cursive on it that says like "Life's a beach."
Cute.
We're talking all those shoppy shops. Are you a shoppy shop person?
I do love a good shoppy shop. I gotta say, I'm a big gift shop person. I just love window shopping,
Definitely.
I don't think I should buy anything. I have too much stuff as it is, but I like looking, smelling candles, that kind of thing.
This is the place for you. This is the spot. But there's another good shoppy shop district just north of Depoe Bay and over by Glen Eden Beach. We mentioned that nice sandy beach. Over at the Salishan Marketplace. This is like a little strip mall that I remember going to 7, 8 years ago, I'm feeling like it was kind of dead. I went back this time and it was vibrant. It was happening.
It was popping.
It was really popping, like for real. There was like a little sort of market, like vendor market in the parking lot. There was a new food truck that like had a whole thing going on. Mm-hmm. There was like a bunch of shops, some little like fancier things with like fancy little kids' clothes that we looked at that we did not buy because it was like, I can't justify spending $80 on a sweater that she's going to wear one time.
Yeah.
But Leona was really into the dryer balls. They had these like cutesy dryer balls with little flowers on them and stuff.
Aw, okay.
And so we got her like, it was like $3 dryer ball. And I was like, yeah, here you go.
It's a great toy.
Yeah.
Inexpensive.
Exactly. There's a really good brewery called Beachcrest Brewing in there. There's a bakery called Depoe Bakery.
Nice.
Depoe Bakery. You get it?
Oh, yeah, I got it the first time.
Great, okay. Their main thing is donuts. That some of them are like, I've had a raspberry fritter that like really hit the spot.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And then we had this like, this filled donut that was covered in chopped nuts, and it was like the sweetest thing I've ever tasted in my entire life. You know, you take one bite and you're like, I'm set. I'm set for the day.
Sounds like my kind of thing.
Yeah. So
really bad sweet tooth.
There's a good coffee shop there too. So I think they have like a little bit of everything at this. I was really impressed with the Salishan Marketplace. They've really turned it around there. And it's right next to like the Salishan Resort, and there's a spa, all kinds of stuff, which we'll talk about in a second. Because when you're talking about going to Depoe Bay, of course, like aside from all of the things to do, the question as always is, where are you going to stay? Mm-hmm. I've stayed at so many places in Depoe Bay over the years. This is like one of my go-to coast spots. The main deal, I think, in Depoe Bay is vacation rentals. They have the big, expansive hotels. There's a couple of those. There's a couple sort of small boutique hotels. Vacation rentals are sort of like the bread and butter there. I stayed at one place a couple of times that was like a little one-bedroom cottage on like the cliff over the ocean with a hot tub, private hot tub right there.
Okay, can't really beat that.
The big windows looking out. I stayed there, I think, after I worked election night 2020.
You're like, I need a break.
Yeah, and I went out to this place by myself because it was 2020. You know, I've been out there by myself for like 3 days, and it was so nice.
Like a Victorian woman going to the coast to like breathe the sea air.
To just take the air.
Yeah, and they're cured from their maladies. That's how I imagine you.
Oh, honestly, it was great. It was so nice. So you can get that kind of thing for various prices. I mean, obviously going off season, going weekday helps you, but I mean, you can expect to spend a couple $100s a night if you're going to stay in that kind of vacation rental situation. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's some sort of like in more interesting hotels. We've talked before about the Channel House,
right?
Which is fancy, but you do get a private hot tub on a balcony looking at the ocean. You get what you pay for there. If you want to go even fancier, over by Restaurant Beck is the Whale Cove Inn. That's a 4-star hotel that is very expensive. So if you're that kind of person, more power to you. Go stay at the Whale Cove Inn.
But do you get a hot tub?
I don't know. It's really been none of my business, that place, so I don't know. I could imagine they have like a jacuzzi tub or something. I don't know. Or unless that's like not
maybe
classy
it's not
enough.
Private, though.
Yeah.
You don't get your own private hot tub, so.
Maybe you do. I got to look into this.
Yeah, we'll have to research.
If you're like, none of this sounds good to me and I just want like a clean, modern, simple room with a bed, there's this place called SCP, Depoe Bay, that's right on the bay. It's sort of like on the backside of the bay, on the water, and it's like, I want to say it's like $150 a night or something. Pretty reasonable rates comparatively for just like a simple, modern, clean room. I stayed there before. It was great. Everything you need. Mm-hmm. And of course, up in Salishan, you mentioned they have the nice marketplace and the spa. There's the Salishan Resort, which is like family vacation resort. All the pickleball courts and the horseback riding probably, and like all the stuff. if you want to spend like a week doing the stuff with your family, that's the place you can do that.
So the place for stuff, it
golf course.
Crazy expensive, or what are we talking? Middle?
I would say it's more expensive.
Okay.
Probably if you're doing like a couple of families staying together in like a big house, you could probably do it for pretty cheap, or a bunch of friends or something. Mm-hmm. It's certainly not cheap, but it comes with all the stuff.
Gotcha.
Right. So if you want to spend it doing those kinds of activities, zip lines, and the golf course, and you want to get a massage, and that you're kind of staying at Salishan, that's the place to do it.
So we've covered the places to stay, and we've got a lot of things to do. Mm-hmm. Anything else that you're like, I missed, or
I think go back? Just like the seasonality of Depoe Bay is interesting to me. It's one of my sort of go-to winter spots. Like it's beautiful in the summertime, obviously. But I've been there for a couple of like New Year's Eves. I've been there like really like in the winter solstice, like I said, like election night. I've sort of done sort of fall winter there, and it's much quieter because it's a small town to begin with, and once you sort of take out the summer crowds, it gets pretty quiet, and you kind of like this sort of like the stormy, rugged coastal vibe there. Along that seawall in town, when the winter storms come in and the waves crash up against it, it's pretty gnarly. It's great. The formation of sort of the lava rock right there creates what they call spouting horns.
Okay.
So when the water comes up and crashes against it, it's forced up through these chasms in the rock and makes these sort of big, tall sprays, like a whale spout might. And then when it gets really big, that spray goes all the way across the freeway.
Oh.
The other side of town.
Wow.
It gets like massive there sometimes.
Maybe if you don't see any whales, you can just watch the ocean.
And that's very fun for some of us.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like we're getting into peak Depoe Bay time for you.
I think so.
Yeah.
Man, I don't think another trip is in the cards for this year, but I love Depoe Bay in the winter time. So, so right now we're kind of getting out of whale season. Mark that in your calendars for next year. Or just call up the whale watching folks and say, are there whales? Or go in the winter time. Like I said, rainy day, hot bowl of chowder, hot tub, ? Make it happen. It's definitely worth it.
Well, now you know how to do all that.
You, having listened to all of that and having not stayed in Depoe Bay, what appeals to you? What are you looking at and saying that's something I got to do?
Obviously the food. I think I just like really like seafood, and I don't get to have it often because my partner's a non-seafood person. So like any excuse to go and like have fish and chips or chowder, sounds amazing. I love a good like vacation home retreat, like you were saying. Like I feel like I need that right now, just to go like to the coast and breathe the salt air for a couple days would be nice.
Take the air.
So I think I'm more of like I would like to get some atmosphere, get some seafood, do some little window shopping. That sounds really nice right now.
Well, I can share with you the place that I stayed this most recent time, or any number of other places. It's all good. I think staying within walking distance to Depoe Bay, wherever you stay, like that's the trick. So you can just walk into town, walk back, not drive, get more sea air by just kind of walking through it. You know
Perfect.
What I mean?
Yeah, I hate driving.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
There you go. Well, I'm excited for your inevitable Depoe Bay trip.
I've got a lot of inevitable trips lined up.
That's what happens when you co-host this podcast. You just end up with inevitable trips.
Well, this one sounds great. I'm excited for this inevitable trip.
Amazing. Well, folks, that'll do it for us for today. Until next time, you can watch our videos on the Oregonians YouTube channel and view all of our travel and outdoors coverage on OregonLive.com/travel, as well as HereIsOregon.com.
Please leave us a rating or review if you enjoy the show. And if you want to support this podcast as well as our local journalism, please consider a subscription to Oregon Live. You can find the details at OregonLive.com/subscribe. Also, if you're a fan of the show and you're interested in potentially sponsoring it, you can get in touch with our marketing people at advertise@oregonian.com. This episode of the show was produced by me alongside Jamie Hale, Teresa Mahoney, and Vicky Connor.
Stay safe and happy travels, everyone. Until next time, we leave you with this 10 seconds of Zen.